The alarm blares at 5:30 a.m. For a moment, in the hazy space between dreams and consciousness, you forget what day it is. Then reality crashes in. It's Tuesday. Just another Tuesday in an endless parade of workdays that blend together in a colorless blur. Your 3-year-old daughter is still asleep, her tiny chest rising and falling in the soft glow of her nightlight. You brush the hair from her forehead, knowing that in 30 minutes, you'll have to wake her. She'll cry. She always does. Not because she's difficult, but because no child wants to be pulled from warm sheets before the sun has fully risen, dressed hurriedly, and bundled into a car still cold from the night air. This is the reality for millions of parents across the country. This might be your reality. The daycare opens at 7 a.m. You'll be the third parent to arrive, nodding silently to the others, fellow members of a club nobody wanted to join. The club of those who leave their children in the care of others not because they want to, but because economic necessity demands it. "Mommy, I don't want to go," she'll whisper, clinging to your leg as you sign her in. The daycare worker, kind but overworked, will peel her away with practiced efficiency. You'll blow a kiss, promise to return soon, and walk out the door with the weight of her tears heavy on your shoulders. By 8 a.m., you're at your desk. The fluorescent lights hum overhead, casting everything in a sickly glow. Your coworker complains about the weekend being too short. Your boss reminds everyone about the upcoming deadline. The coffee in the break room tastes like it was brewed yesterday. It probably was. This job pays $42,000 a year. After taxes, health insurance, and the crushing $1,200 monthly daycare bill, you're left with just enough to cover rent, utilities, groceries, and the minimum payment on your student loans. There's nothing left for savings, nothing for emergencies, nothing for joy. When Friday comes, the paycheck disappears so quickly it feels like it was never there at all. At 5:30 p.m., you rush out, always the first to leave, always feeling the unspoken judgment of those who can stay later. The daycare charges $1 per minute for late pickups after 6 p.m. You've paid that fee twice this month already when traffic was unexpectedly heavy. Your daughter's face lights up when she sees you, the purest moment of your day. For the brief drive home, you try to connect, to hear about her day, to be present. But your mind is already calculating. Dinner needs to be made, laundry needs to be done, bills need to be paid. The evening will vanish in a flurry of necessary tasks, and before you know it, it's time to start the bedtime routine. As you tuck her in, she asks if you can stay home tomorrow. "I miss you," she says, and the words cut deeper than any knife could. "I have to work, sweetheart," you reply, the same answer you give every time. Why? It's a simple question with a complicated answer. Because we need money to live. Because this is what adults do. Because the system is designed this way. Because I don't know how to escape it. Because that's what grown-ups do, you say instead, kissing her goodnight. Later, alone in the quiet of your home, you scroll through social media, seeing carefully curated glimpses of others' lives, vacations you can't afford, achievements you don't have time to pursue, happiness that seems increasingly out of reach. This is existence, not living. This is survival, not thriving. And somewhere deep inside, a voice whispers, there has to be more than this. That voice is right. The realization doesn't come as a lightning bolt. It builds slowly, like water rising against a dam, pressure accumulating until something has to give. Maybe it happens on a Sunday evening, that moment when the weekend's freedom begins to dissolve into Monday's obligations, and the familiar dread settles in your stomach. Maybe it's during a performance review, when your boss praises your dedication while denying the raise that might have made a meaningful difference in your life. Maybe it's when you calculate that you've spent more waking hours with your coworkers than with your child this month. Whenever it happens, the truth becomes undeniable. This isn't working. Not for you, not for your family, not for your soul. The system tells us this is normal. That sacrificing our time, our relationships, our passions, and our health at the altar of employment is simply what responsible adults do. That living paycheck to paycheck while missing our children's childhoods is an acceptable trade-off for economic stability. even when that stability is increasingly illusory. The system is wrong. Your life is not meant to be a continuous cycle of exhaustion and obligation. Your worth is not determined by your productivity. Your child deserves more than the leftover scraps of your time and energy. And you deserve more than a life that feels like a slowly tightening vice. The first step toward change is allowing yourself to question everything you've been taught about work, success, and what constitutes a good life. Ask yourself, what if my job isn't the only way to provide for my family? What if the security it offers is actually preventing me from pursuing greater abundance? What if my talents and passions could create not just income, but fulfillment? What if I'm modeling the wrong lessons for my child by accepting daily misery as inevitable? These questions aren't selfish or irresponsible. They are essential. Because the true irresponsibility would be continuing on a path that depletes your spirit and robs your family of your presence, simply because you never pause to consider alternatives. The answers won't come immediately. They can't. You've spent years, perhaps decades, internalizing messages about work and worth that serve systems, not people. Unlearning takes time. But once you give yourself permission to imagine a different life, possibilities begin to emerge from the fog of routine. Everyone's journey toward meaningful work and a balanced life looks different. There is no one-size-fits-all escape route from the hamster wheel of modern employment. For some, it means transitioning gradually, reducing hours, negotiating remote work arrangements, or shifting to a more aligned field while maintaining the security of regular income. For others, it means a clean break, leaving behind toxic workplaces to start businesses built around their skills and values, creating income streams that don't require sacrificing family time or personal well-being. Some discover that downsizing material possessions and expectations creates space for work that pays less but costs less in terms of life energy. Others find that their expertise, when applied directly rather than through an employer, can actually generate more abundance with fewer hours. The specific path matters less than the decision to start walking it. Consider Sarah, a former marketing executive who spent years leaving her son at daycare while she helped build other people's businesses. After one too many missed school events, she leveraged her expertise to launch a consulting practice serving small businesses. She now earns more working 25 hours a week than she did working 50, and she's home when her son gets off the school bus. Or Michael, who traded his soul-crushing accounting job for a combination of bookkeeping for local businesses and managing vacation rentals. His income fluctuates more than it once did, but his family's quality of life has improved immeasurably, and his children now see a father who is present and engaged rather than perpetually stressed and distracted. Or Letitia, who started selling her handmade children's clothes online while still working part-time, gradually building a business that now supports her family while allowing her to work around her daughter's schedules. These aren't exceptional stories. They are increasingly common ones, as more parents recognize that the traditional employment model is failing families and decide to create alternatives. Transforming your work life requires both vision and practicality. Here are the steps that can take you from where you are to where you want to be. First, get radically honest about what's working and what isn't. Track how you spend your time and energy for a week. Note when you feel energized versus depleted. Identify the specific aspects of your current situation that feel most unsustainable or soul-crushing. Next, reconnect with your strengths and passions. What are you naturally good at? What do people come to you for help with? What activities make time seem to disappear? The intersection of your talents, interests, and market needs contains the seeds of more meaningful work. Then, research relentlessly. We live in an unprecedented age of information access. Whatever alternative you're considering, freelancing, small business ownership, remote work, career change, others have blazed that trail and shared their maps. Learn from them. Start small but start now. You don't need to quit your job tomorrow. Begin by dedicating a few hours each week to building skills, connections, or side projects that could eventually replace your current income. Even modest progress will fuel your motivation. Build a financial runway. Examine your spending with fresh eyes. Which expenses truly enhance your family's well-being, and which simply compensate for a depleted life. Redirect resources toward creating freedom rather than funding distraction. Find your community. Surrounding yourself with others who are questioning conventional wisdom about work and family is essential. Their support will sustain you when doubt inevitably arises. Remember that perfect is the enemy of better. Your new path won't be flawless. There will be setbacks and uncertainties. But an imperfect journey toward alignment is infinitely preferable to the guaranteed misery of remaining where you are. As your transition progresses, you'll notice something profound. The quality of your presence with your child transforms. It's not just about having more hours together, though that matters enormously. It's about the energy you bring to those hours. When work drains rather than fulfills you, you carry that depletion home. You might be physically present but emotionally absent, too exhausted to fully engage, your attention fragmented by work stress or resentment about the time you've lost. As you move toward work that respects your humanity and values your time, you'll find yourself more fully available, not just to your child, but to your own life. The mental load lightens. The constant background anxiety about making ends meet begins to fade. You'll rediscover play, creativity, spontaneity, the parts of yourself that got buried under years of conforming to workplace expectations and schedules. Your child will notice. They always do. They'll respond to your renewed energy, your reduced stress, your increased patience. The relationship will deepen in ways that might bring tears to your eyes when you reflect on what might have been lost had you continued on the old path. And perhaps most importantly, you'll be modeling a powerful lesson, that we have choices. That adults don't have to be miserable. That work can be meaningful. That family comes first not just in words but in actions. This is the inheritance that matters far more than any amount of money, showing your child that it's possible to create a life aligned with your deepest values, even when that means challenging conventional wisdom and taking risks. The path to more meaningful work and family life isn't a destination you reach once and for all. It's an ongoing journey of alignment and realignment as circumstances change, children grow, and your own needs and capacities evolve. There will be difficult days, even on the new path. Times when you question your choices or face unexpected challenges. Moments when the old fears resurface and the voices of doubt, both internal and external, grow loud. In those moments, return to your why. Remember the morning tears at daycare drop-off. The Sunday night dread. The missed moments you can never reclaim. The feeling of your life force slowly draining away as you traded irreplaceable time for barely adequate money. Then look at where you are now. The freedom you've created. The example you're setting. The life you're building not just for your child but with them, present and engaged rather than perpetually elsewhere. This is success that matters. This is wealth that counts. This is the legacy of a parent who refused to accept that missing their child's life was the price of providing for it. You can do this. You deserve to do this. Your family needs you to do this. The first step is simply believing that another way is possible. The next is deciding that you'll find it, no matter what it takes or how long the journey. Your future self will thank you for having the courage to begin. That's all I have for today. If you have made it this far, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.